He stands before you as Dion, managing attention. All phones and computers are away, communicating respect non-verbally, saying to himself, I respect my audience. Getting ready to communicate emotions to us, finding friendly eyes near the front. Instead of saying your name, feel the love, stop swaying. Start your speech.
Hi everybody, I'm Dion.
Hi Dion.
Good afternoon. So there's a quote that I hold dearly to my heart, and it's by Bernard Baruch, and it goes as follows. Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. You know, oftentimes here in the realm of UCLA, or maybe even back at home, you know, back in our daily lives, we are expected to be someone who are not, and you know, oftentimes it's just this beast inside of us is just rattling to get out. Just in this cage, just confined, as I am in this box, just wanting to just get out and free himself, you know, or free herself, depending on if you're male or female. And because of that, there's this movie which I hold so dearly. You know, I watch it probably like once a month, to be honest. And that movie goes by the name of Mulan. Mulan is one to be reckoned with. And Mulan is definitely one of my favorite movies because I felt sympathetic towards Mulan's trials and difficulties that she had to overcome. Mulan definitely didn't make me feel courageous and honorable. And I will share with you some personal stories as well as connect to why Mulan made me feel those ways. So first and foremost, Mulan made me feel sympathetic. Mulan made me feel sympathetic towards her her trials. Here's how. So when in the beginning she fails miserably as with the matchmakers, with you know the gender stereotype was the women was supposed to be suppressed or be submissive towards their men. They're supposed to, you know, how do I say it? How do I put this in words? They're supposed to be matched to this husband, and they're supposed to, you know, follow the rules and be a certain expectation of what, you know, a woman should be back in China's culture. And she subverted those gender stereotypes by, you know, first of all, failing miserably because she had this inherent tomboy-esque, you know, figure. And afterwards, she definitely goes towards. Afterwards, she sings a song, you know, and when she fails, she sings a song about her true reflection. When will my reflection surely show who I am inside? And although I'm not a female, although I can't say I'm empathetic because I'm not a female, but I am sympathetic because my twin sisters definitely had those struggles. To give you a background story, my parents are from Belize. They're foreign. It's in Central America, and they have this certain picture that they want both me and my sister to have. My sister, she was very rebellious because there was so strict requirements in elementary school. She wanted to wear, you know, shorts, basketball shorts, you know, Vans, you know, a t-shirt. But my parents wanted her always to be in a dress, you know, always wanted her to look with, you know, makeup a little bit, you know, wanted to represent the Turner household, you know, in an honorable manner. And that created a lot of tension in the house, and that carried towards high school. And because of that, there's so much tension in the house because there was so much restriction that she just had to rebel, and that just caused utter discontent in the house. And that was when I made my decision, you know, to be studious, come to UCLA, just so I don't have to be in that realm, in that household. Secondly, Mulan made me courageous because there's this one, when she's surviving the training camp, you know, she has to retrieve the arrow with the symbols of strength and discipline around her wrists. And because of that, through being beaten down through, you know, various trials she had to do within the camp, you know, bullied, as you say, by, you know, Yao and the other peasants who were trying to be in the army. She definitely overcomes the struggles of all of that, and she retrieves the arrow with strength and discipline around her. And here at UCLA, you know, we definitely have our struggles with grades, whether it be, you know, finding friends, trying to fit in. And we need strength and discipline in order to get us through the daily lives here at UCLA. And, you know, when we do face that entire Hun army, or that army of our, you know, what we truly want to defeat, whether it be, you know, defeating failure when we achieve our success in our careers, then that's when we'll have strength and discipline, and that's when we'll be able to conquer, you know, whatever we face. Finally, Mulan made me honorable. Here's how. So Mulan, when she finally defeats Shan Yu, the leader of the Hun army, it's because she's so disciplined with that strength instilled within her. And because of that, she receives emblems of Shan Yu and what she conquered. She has all of China bowing down to her. And although I don't plan to have all of China bowing down to me, I just hope that one day I can, bring honor to my family by becoming what I want to be, a successful lawyer, financially reliant on myself. Just all these, just putting down all my struggles and being who I am, just letting that beast out and letting me be who I am. And that all ties back to be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. And my family definitely, although we've had our issues with my sister in the past, we've all come to realize that we are who we are, and we have to let this beast out and just let it shine brightly in this world. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Stay up there for your feedback.
Oh, I just wanted to see, and I'm.
What was the time?
5:21.
5:21. Oh, what a tragedy.
No, you're fine. Thank you, though. That was actually really helpful. Because I would have just gone on and on and on and on.
Let's start in the rear. Here.
Hi, I'm Ava.
Hi, Ava.
First, I like your movie choice.
I like my movies too.
Also, I like the way you spoke. It seemed really casual, but at the same time, you were getting your point across. So.
Hi, I'm Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
Well, I thought your speech was really great. You seemed comfortable and confident up there, and I liked that you added a touch of humor, and your personality was seen through your speech. However, I thought you tended to look down on the floor sometimes, and then you were thinking out loud. So
Okay.
you just,
Dion, let's talk about your movie choice, which I admire. Some people are afraid to do girlish movies or Disney movies or children's movies, whatever. And I think that's sad, because those movies are filled with wonderful insight and emotions, and that's what we're trying to get at and play with. And so don't even apologize. You started with a quote from Bernard M. Baruch. Who dat?
Somebody who I found on BriniQuotes.com. But I've heard that a lot before. Whether it be on social media, be who you are, say you feel. I'm pretty sure many of you have come across that. On Pinterest. I just thought that quote really hit home. But as far as the person himself, I have no idea.
Okay, don't miss my point. My point is build the credibility of your quote by doing a little further research and saying well-known author Bernard Baruch, or whatever he's done, or civil rights leader Bernard Baruch, so that you can enhance the credibility. Otherwise, he's just, some dude on the internet. On the thesis preview, is fine. You skipped over your significant statement. This film deals with some significant themes I know to my own self be true. And that's an important thing, because that sells it one last time to the audience and tries to draw them in. It's an attention management device. So be sure you have all 7 parts to the outline. Let's talk about the important thing, which was your attempt to communicate emotions. And here's where I think I can give you some help. You talked about, you wanted to communicate sympathy. You said that the film made you feel sympathy, and you used a big word, gender stereotype. So I guess that came out of gender studies or something. And I think that you want to try to always simplify your ideas as much as you can, and not use a lot of jargon if it can be avoided. And by the way, I don't think just because it was a woman repressing her own instincts. It's not universalizable to a man. But nonetheless, you chose not to talk about your own repression and your own not coming out and being your true self, but your twin sister, and talked about the tension that she caused and your parents wanting her to wear a dress and not shorts and that sort of thing. What happened in all that story was I'm asking myself, where's the sympathy? I didn't hear the word again at the end. I didn't get the feeling that, where was the sympathy feeling? Did you have sympathy for her? Did you have sympathy for yourself? I don't know. I just lost the sympathy feeling. And that's what you were supposed to be communicating, see? On your second emotion, and I will say this, and maybe you were late, as you heard me say to people yesterday, let's move 3 times, and that'll help relax you. When you watch yourself tonight on YouTube, you'll see that you're
Yeah, I tend to do that.
just like this, almost consistently, okay? And so if you can, maybe Tai Chi would help you get some body awareness of what your body's doing while you're speaking. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
The second emotion was courageous. I thought to myself, this is a tough emotion to communicate, because courageous is like, oh, you know, I had to stand up to my dad that was beating my mother or something. You know, what is he going to do? I thought to myself, how's he going to communicate courageousness? You gave the plot summary, and I might add that this is why you went overtime. Your plot summaries were a little long. They could have been shortened up. We only need a sentence or two. And here, and I want you all to notice this, folks, you talked about being at UCLA, and you went into, not the first person as I expected you to do, but you said we have all kinds of problems that we have to face here on campus. And no, you're to communicate your feelings and emotions where you have to act courageous at UCLA. And I didn't get any of that, see? I didn't get where you were courageous on campus. It reminded you of a moment where you had to be courageous, see?
Yeah.
And that's what I was after. On your third feeling that I was trying to get you to communicate, it was honorable. Again, you chose some really difficult emotions to communicate. And you again told a long plot summary about the Mulan and the Huns and so forth. And I love your use of humor there. You got a good release from your audience. They laughed with you. That was excellent. And here's where you finally kind of opened up and said that you want to use your skills to become financially independent, and I guess that's your definition of honorable, is if you're self-sufficient and making a living, right? Is that what you're trying to communicate?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you skipped the summary. So remember, in summary, I told you 3 ways this film Mulan moved me. You had an excellent tie back. So just to summarize, Dion,
Yeah.
my big concern is just do some more practicing in felt sensing of learning to remember your emotions and not being afraid to communicate them. As this film would do, get in touch with your, I know it sounds corny, but get inside with the feminine side, your gentler, kinder side, or as Anissa Nin, the diarist, said, in defense of the gentleman. But find that side, whatever it takes, where you do communicate emotions and practice communicating them. Thank you. Okay, and who was the other one that was present but didn't get a chance to perform? What's your name?
Jonathan Lee.
Jonathan what?
Lee.
Lee? How did I miss you? Oh, you're not on the
recently
list?
Added me.
You're not Lee Wee Lee or Yu Ting Lee?
Can't say I am.
Okay. Got a lot of Lees in there, but the wrong ones, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it L-E-E?
Yes, sir. I'm pretty sure you added me on the roster last time because you asked for my ID number as well.
Okay, praise the Lord. And you're an A.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I'm running my battery down, so let's rock and roll. Okay, he stands before you, managing attention, communicating respect, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center, say your name, feel the love, start your speech.
Hi, I'm John.
Hi, John.
Now, famous screenwriter Max Landis calls Superman the world's most enduring superhero. Now, to me, this means that Superman is more than just a fictional character that you see on screen or read in the comic books. He's this icon that's been immortalized in pop culture and will forever live on with us. And today I want to share with you guys a film that really moved me, Man of Steel. It made me worried, uncomfortable, and then it reassured me. Now, this film deals with some significant themes that I'm sure you guys will be interested in, such as hope and how Superman inspires hope, and how he inspires people to be better than who they are. So, the first way this film made me feel was worried. So, in the beginning, there's a scene where Clark is being shipped off to Earth in his little space crib, and his father turns to his wife and tells her that their child was going to be Krypton's last hope. And this made me feel worried because this was similar to something that my parents told me when I left for college, how they had placed high hopes in me to succeed, similar to Superman's parents. And you know, this pressure, it gets a lot. It's a lot of weight on your shoulders, and I felt like I was really worried that I was going to fail and disappoint them and disappoint myself. And that's why this scene made me feel worried.
Good.
The second scene that really moved me was that it made me made me feel uncomfortable. And the scene that made me feel uncomfortable was Clark was in the car with his parents riding across the farmland. He was in an argument with them, and he was yelling with them and things like that. And this made me feel uncomfortable because it reminded me how I used to act with my parents, and I wasn't always the model child. I used to be quite the juvenile delinquent, and I would always fight with my parents and argue with them on a weekly basis. And seeing this on screen really resonated with me because it reminded me just like how bad I treated them in my youth. And that's why the scene made me feel uncomfortable. And the third scene that really moved me was that it reassured me. So the scene that reassured me was when Clark was a child. He was getting bullied by these kids, and you know, he's Superman. He has super strength. He can like beat up these kids if he really wanted to, but he chose not to. And seeing this, it made me feel reassured because when I was younger, I used to get picked on, and by this kid named Austin, who was 2 years older than me. I remember I was walking down the hall, and he would slap me really hard across the head, and like everyone was laughing, and I really wanted to like cry, but I didn't. But you know, I didn't resort to violence because I feel like Superman, I have to be the bigger person in this type of situation. And that's why this scene in particular made me feel reassured, because I knew that I was doing the right thing. In summary, I have shown you guys 3 ways this film has moved me. it has made me feel worried, uncomfortable, and then it reassured me. There should be no doubt in this room that this film, Man of Steel, really moved me. So, going back to what Max Landis says about Superman being the world's most enduring superhero, I mean, what makes Clark special isn't that he has super strength, laser vision, or that he can fly faster than a speeding bullet. What makes him special is that he's always going to do the right thing and make the right call. And that's what makes him special, because Superman is this symbol that stands for hope. And that's all I have for you guys today.
Thank you for waiting respectfully outside. Okay, where are we? Here?
Hi, my name is Dion.
Hi, Dion.
I love the way you had simple emotions and how it, you definitely tied it really well towards the movie. Definitely did feel, especially that last part where you were sharing, definitely did hit home. Definitely did touch me and hopefully touch somebody else, but great job on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. What was the time?
Time was 4:30.
4:30. Good. Improvement?
Everyone, I'm Katia.
Katia.
First of all, I really appreciate that you shared so many personal stories. They were really touching. I almost cried the last one. But for improvement, I would say just have eye contact with, spread eye contact in the room, not just one side. That's all.
Thank you.
That's good advice. Do you want to be called John or Jonathan?
I have no preference.
Okay. Just wondered. Well, let's start at the top. You started with a quote, and you told us it was from a screenwriter. And you gave us a sense. You said that he's the most enduring superhero. And it was fine. I wasn't sure it was a super grabber, but you tried a quote, and it intrigued us, so that was fine. Your thesis preview? Top floor. Thesis, significant statement, fine. On your first emotion, you had a nice brief look at your movie plot, so it wasn't too long. I liked that. And then you went into the anxiety you felt when you went to college. And here I felt you could have elaborated a little bit more and talked about when they first drove you to school and drove away. You felt sad and felt separation anxiety, maybe. I mean, I'm just making it up now, but and how you wonder if you were studying hard enough to meet their expectations. Just see what I'm saying? And elaborate a little bit more. But one thing you noticed that he did well, folks, he returned to the emotion at the end each time, so there was no question what emotion you were communicating, and so that was good. On your second emotion, uncomfortable, again, a good brief plot summary that worked nicely. You talked about the fact that you were kind of a disobedient, nasty child to your parents, and when you saw another child on the screen acting like you acted, you felt uncomfortable. And I would have just given an example of a couple of times what you did and how petulant you were or whatever, so you brought the point home. But nonetheless, you sort of could have said, I look back in horror and how I was so mean to my parents during that period. If it's any consolation, you adolescents are just classically known to do this, On your third emotion that you tried to communicate, you said you felt reassured, and this was a very tricky emotion that you went to communicate, and I think the emotion that came through was we felt the pathos of you being bullied and slapped across the head, and you saying that I felt bad and angry and wanted to strike back, and just, go through that immediacy feeling that you felt at that moment and share that with the group. And then go on to say, and yet I had self-control. And that's what made me feel reassured that I controlled my emotions and didn't strike back. Your summary, your conclusion, and tie back were all fine. Like I said, you had 45 more seconds, so I would have used it in the storytelling part. But overall, you did a nice job. Thank you, John. Okay, that will bring us to the B's. Let's have Edgar. Takes off that evil hat. Good. Hi, Edgar. How you doing?
Pretty good yourself.
Good, thanks. Edgar stands before you, managing attention, communicating respect non-verbally, saying to himself, I respect my audience. You can take a half step forward. Yeah, don't you cling to the wall. It seems that you're afraid of the audience that way. Good. Say your name, feel the love. Start your speech.
What's up, everybody? I'm Edgar.
Hi, Edgar.
All right, so quick question: has anybody had a film shot in your neighborhood, hometown? Which hometown?
New York.
New York. All right.
Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz. That's up north, right?
Yes.
Anybody else?
Oh, Friday.
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 Friday. What? The movie?
Yeah.
That's the movie I want to talk about. So, since you want the film Friday was shot in my hometown, South Central Los Angeles, and where was it? Oh, so it's a comedic movie. It's very funny, and it also has some. It brings out some emotions in me, and the three that are, it gives me a feeling of nostalgia, gives me a feeling of heroism, how do you say it, and it brings me a feeling of warmness, and it includes a significant theme, which is, it gives you it portrays like a day in the urban life, but it gives it a comedic twist to it, so it's really funny. And there was an article in Entertainment Weekly by Kenny Glenn, which he sums it up pretty good. He's like, Variety doesn't turn a blind eye to the urban life. Instead, it magnifies it by bringing up by surrounding it with laughter. And I feel like it does do that in a very good way. So first, it brings a feeling of nostalgia. So in the scene, it's Smokey and Craig, which are the two main characters, and they're in front of the porch, hearing some music. So Craig just got fired the day before, so they're just talking about the problems. Smokey smokes every day, smokes weed. Craig doesn't. So in this scene, Smokey is pressuring Craig to smoke weed. They're just hanging out, and he says a famous quote, which is, "It's Friday, you ain't got no job, you ain't got shit to do." So he doesn't have nothing to do, so he decides to smoke and have a good time and just talk about their problems. And this brings a feeling of nostalgia to me because the first time I seen Friday, I was 13, and it was the first time I smoked weed with my best friend. So we were our senior year of middle school. We just came out of class, and we went home. We were gonna watch the movie, and it was I was excited for it, and I didn't know he was gonna surprise me with weed. So we got in there, and we were just talking about how we were about to graduate, how it's dope. And he just pulled out the joint, and he was like, "Oh, we're gonna smoke." I was I wasn't ready for it, but I was like, "Let's do it." So whenever I see the scene, it's it takes me back to that one time where it was the first time I seen the movie. That was the first time I smoked weed. All right, second emotion, it comes out heroism. During near the end, the neighborhood bully named Devo gets into an altercation with Craig because he slaps one of the neighbors. So you know, this scene made me feel heroism because when I was a freshman in high school, we had like a neighborhood bully. So this one time, we were all just hanging out, and he wanted to go egg the neighbors' houses like down the block. And it was like me, my cousin, and like some other friends from the block. And we weren't with it because, you know, we didn't want to be bad and like get in trouble or anything like that. But so we were like, nah, you know, we're fine. We don't want to do that. He got mad. He ended up slapping my cousin in the back of his head. So that's when I got mad. I was like, I pushed him. I was like, you can't be like just hitting my family like that. So we ended up fighting. I won, luckily. And so from then on, you know, he still tried to bully us, but he always knew his boundaries because he knew, you know, what would happen if he would cross the line again. And, all right, so final motion, it's a feeling of warmness. So in the opening scene, we see that it's like an aerial shot of the neighborhood, palm trees lined up down the street, and like old houses. We got like trash cans, bikes on the floor, and they have in the background you hear the Icy Brothers, which is like one of my favorite groups. And it brings me a feeling of warmness because whenever I have like a day off and I'm back home, I usually wake up early. You know, I go for a walk to the bakery, and I have like my headphones on, and like doing that, it reminds me of the movie, like, because in my block I have like palm trees lined up, so it's like a scene from the movie, but I live it every day when I'm back home. And so in summary, we've seen how Friday has managed to make me feel feeling of nostalgia, heroism, and feeling of warmness. And to tie it back up, if anybody hasn't had like a film shot in their like neighborhood, it sucks. It's good to like, it's good to be able to like personally meet. Like I know where the film was shot is between Normandy and Western. So in like all the area, so like I know the area. So like since I walk by, like I pass by the liquor store where like the scene takes place. So it's good to just be able to pass by and like have epiphanies of the movie and stuff. All right, thank you.
Time.
5:28.
Thank you. We're somewhere back here. Here. Hi.
Hi, I'm Sophia.
Hi, Sophia.
I really liked how in the beginning you asked a question to your audience instead of just doing a quote because that's what everybody else has been doing. So that set you apart and made your speech unique, and it also helped us connect with you.
Audience interaction. Sometimes people ask rhetorical questions and they don't wait for the answer, and that's kind of problematic, but he did. He kind of called on people, and so it was good. Sometimes audiences don't know whether to respond or not, don't know whether it's a real question or not, but this worked out. Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Becky.
Hi, Becky.
So I liked how you looked really comfortable when you're up there, but I do notice that you tend to sway a lot. And you use the word so just to connect different statements a little bit too much, I would say. Other than that was pretty good.
Okay. Edgar, if you want to lose that as a transitional device, in practice, tell your study buddy, your lover, your partner, whoever's listening to you that you want to lose so as a transitional device, and you want to be a little more straight up when you speak and move purposefully 3 times. Let me talk about your speech and your effort to communicate emotions. You did draw your audience in nicely, and you had a tie back, and so you understood the concept of the bookends nicely. So that worked. I want to compliment you on the first person that really used a quote from your deep internet, from the movie review, and said, and I agree with it, or I disagree with it. You can do either one. And it's kind of a tongue twister and a little bit of a memory task to remember what the dude or the woman said, but you did it. So that was very good. So now let's go to your emotions. Nostalgia is tricky, but you pulled it off. It's sort of like when people remember when not that it's a nostalgic moment, but where they were when certain events happened. John F. Kennedy was shot, when the Challenger blew up. You happen to remember the first time you smoked weed. And this brought that memory back of the guy pulling out a joint when you were 13 years old, and so we got the feeling of nostalgia from you. So that worked. That was pretty good. My only suggestion, as I've said to others, is at the end of your segment, leave no doubt what emotion you're trying to push to your audience. That's why I felt nostalgic. On your second emotion, heroism. This is tough. As I said recently, your story was basically you went to egg a neighbor's house and someone hit a relative, and so you got in a fist fight and won and got respect. What you didn't go on and add is how you felt after you won. I was the victor. I was the hero to my brother or whatever my cousin or whatever it was. And the guy left me alone after that, and that's why I felt heroic. I stood up. See? So on your third emotion, warmness, you quoted the Isley Brothers. I too like them. I get a warm feeling from listening to them. Music can give us very warm feelings. I get more warm feelings from classical music like Schubert and other classic composers, especially piano compositions. But nonetheless, music does give us warm feelings. It's really, in my opinion, better than drugs. But you went on to say that the warmness you feel is when you put in earbuds and walk down a street with palm trees. So we just had to sort of take your word for this, that you feel warm when you do that. And again, I would have liked you to have returned to the emotion of that's why I felt warm. Your summary, your conclusion was all fine, and your tie back to your neighborhood was okay. You went overtime. That was sad. You said move 3 times, and you really didn't move 3 times. You just kind of do this up there. You'll see it when you watch yourself tonight on YouTube. You did have a tie back, and your goal is to stop swaying. What do you think we can do about the swaying?
I don't know. Move? Actually move, like not just...
No, yeah.
Take steps.
Have you ever considered taking up Tai Chi? Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it, I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, well, it develops a connection between your mind and your body. And you just seem to be unaware of what your body's doing while you're speaking. That's my only point. But you did a nice job. Thank you. Okay, that will bring us to Gabrielle. Gabe?
Oh, is he the one that's pregnant?
He stepped out. How convenient. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Bria. She dropped. What a tragedy. Let's go on to the next B. Bia Shengeo.
Oh, that's me. Gary.
Gary. Hi, Gary. You thought you were a C?
Huh?
You thought you were a C?
I was a snug. I didn't print out the bottom one, so I just wrote it in.
Yeah, that's fine.
I wasn't here Tuesday, but I sent you an email. I could do it. It's a copy of the TED Talk.
Oh, yeah.
And then the movie thing's stapled up now.
Bless you.
Okay, you can take a step forward.
I'm not that tall.
One step, a little half step back. Right there, that's good, yeah. He stands before you, he's on his phone texting, managing attention, communicating respect, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love, communicate emotions.
Hi, I'm Gary.
Hi, Gary.
Today I just want to start off by telling you guys a little bit about my younger brother. So ever since he was little, he struggled in school and he often lacked motivation. So my mom would always tell him, why can't you be more like your older brother, which is me? And it is flattering. It's very flattering, but at the same time, I honestly do feel really bad for him. So I'm going to tell you a lot about my relationship with him today. The movie that I chose to be my favorite film is Big Hero 6. And I will not talk about Baymax the entire time, I promise. And also, if you have not watched it, I'm actually going to spoil the movie, so if you want to step out.
Spoiler alert.
So this movie made me feel happy, it made me feel sad, but at the end of the day, it left me feeling hopeful. And Entertainment Weekly says that this movie is very loud, but it doesn't end up drowning out the quieter charms within this movie. And one of these quieter charms is the relationship between Tadashi and Hiro. So first off, it made me feel happy. And this is when I saw Hiro being very mischievous, a little kid, and all he does is like play with fire robots. And then eventually his brother takes him under his wing and says, hey, come to this institute I have and look at all these cool science that you can actually work with. And because of this, he became more in tune with his passion, right? And so for my younger brother, he was struggling in school and he often felt like he wasn't good at anything. And so what I did was I taught him how to play basketball. And I was playing high school basketball at that time, so I felt really rewarding when he ended up sharing the same passion with me. And eventually I even started coaching him at the YMCA. And so watching this portion of the film couldn't make me any happier. The second emotion that I felt was sadness. And this is a spoiler. If you guys don't know, Tadashi ends up dying in a fire. And though I didn't end up dying, I ended up going to college, right? And so I had to leave my brother's life. And, I still remember that day. My brother would be like, oh yeah, Gary, I'm not going to miss you. Don't worry about me. And, he played it off until the very end. It wasn't until I got to UCLA that my mom texted me telling me that he was crying in his room. And I felt really sad. I felt really sad because I couldn't be there for him anymore. But this leads to my next emotion, which is hopefulness. So if you watch the movie, you know that Hiro eventually, after he comes to terms with his brother's death, he finds a group of 4 people and they end up being superheroes fighting this guy in a mask. And so this brings me to his current state right now. So he's a 5th grader and he's now actually playing on the middle school basketball team. So that's a really big jump. And like he's up to my shoulder right now. So he's like 10 years old and he's up to my shoulder. So he's actually showing so much promise. And honestly, at this point, I couldn't be any prouder of him. So that's why this part of the film made me feel really hopeful. Continuing on, this film was very special to me because when I was watching it, yes, we were all watching Hiro, but for me, I was literally looking at my younger brother in this film. And that's why this film made me happy, this film made me sad, and it left me hopeful. And now my brother is surrounded by his teammates, he's doing better in school, and he's pursuing his passion. And honestly, I wish I could be more like him. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, we're somewhere, I don't know where. Hazy, maybe?
Hi, I'm Hazy.
Hi, Hazy.
I really like your speech. I think your stories are really personal and I could personally relate to because I have a similar relationship with my sister. So I really liked all your stories. Yeah, and I actually cried a little when you said your brother cried when you left for college. And
Yeah, that was sad.
yeah,
That was well done.
But I think you connected really well with your audience. So
Good felt sensing there. Okay, let's go over here to the wall.
Hi, I'm Charlie.
Hi, Charlie.
I also really enjoyed your speech about the sibling love. If if I had one suggestion, it's a really minor one actually. It's like maybe to use more hand gestures.
Okay. You felt that he had his hands by his side, or was a little constricted. Is that what you? Okay. Well, good speech. Let's talk about it, Gary. You started with a story, and fortunately, or unfortunately, depending on your point of view, I don't think parents should do this to their kids by saying, "Why can't you be more like Billy or whatever, Gary?" You know, it's just tough. You know, it breeds all kinds of discomfort, etc. But nonetheless, it happened, and it was a grabber. It got us interested, and probably a lot of people in the room have heard similar statements in their family, and you know, so it was good. I'm glad you did the spoiler alert. That was good. Your thesis and preview were fine. Your quote was good, but you forgot to say whether you agreed or disagreed with it. Remember to take a position on your quote. Remember that, everyone. If you don't have a position on your quote, write it in right now. Okay, let's talk about the important stuff here, which is how well you communicated emotions today. Let's start with happy. You talked about your younger brother and that he really wasn't good at anything and he had troubles, and so you thought, well, I'll teach him basketball, and you went to the Y, and this turned out to be a good thing, and it made him happy, but more importantly, it made you happy, and I really got that happy feeling from you, so that was well done, and you returned to the happy emotion. On sad, this was your best one, and even though it was buried in the middle, you know, and we don't usually bury our best one, but it just chronologically it's how you told the story, so that's where it was. Leaving for college and abandoning your brother, so to speak, was very sad, and your mother calling and saying that your brother was crying her eyes out. I would have left a little time for your audience to digest that. And when I heard that pause on that, I almost cried too. I felt really bad. I was sad. So, because, you know, you want to give your audience a chance to feel it and to feel the sadness of the separation and the angst that was there. And so that was your best emotion communicating, and I think you had the full attention of your audience. Could you feel it? Yeah. Okay, well that's why we're doing this exercise. On the third emotion, hopeful. This is kind of a tough emotion to communicate. It's kind of in the future, and I don't know. But anyway, you gave us an update on your brother, that he's in the league and he's playing and he's on his own and he has his friends. And so we kind of had a problem solution. We had a happy ending, as it were, to the story. So I think that was good. One thing I want to caution all of you about is sometimes for your emotions, if you use the same incident 3 times, at the third time maybe it loses a little of its punch. In your case, it did not. It was okay in my judgment. Your summary, your conclusion were all fine. And I liked the way you flipped what your mother said as your tie back. That was very clever. It showed you put a lot of thought into the speech. So you did a good job. Thank you. Okay, that brings us to Sophia. Sophia Loren.
Here is my self-evaluation for the respect speech.
Okay, this is one lost in space.
I just haven't spoken since after
It wasn't videotaped, you're saying. It was the one that went
Right,
bad.
it was
yeah.
not videotaped.
Okay. Hang on a minute.
Forward, backwards, side.
Forward. Sophia stands before you, managing attention, communicating respect, saying to herself non-verbally, I respect my audience. Finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, fill the love. Start your speech.
Hi everyone, I'm Sophia.
Hi, Sophia.
Now, T.S. Eliot, my favorite poet, writing in the early 1900s, he wrote that only those who will risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. I think the main character and heroine from Divergent, Tris Pryor, she really embodies this wise risk-taking and sense of adventure. So I'm here today to share with you 3 emotions that I felt while watching Divergent, and those are, it made me feel adventurous, it made me feel anxious, and it made me feel competitive. And there is a movie critic named Mike Ryan writing for Time magazine, and he said that Divergent has scarcely anything new to say. But I disagree. I think that Divergent takes a twist on the futuristic dystopian society genre and presents those themes of rebellion and skepticism and adventure and young love, and presents them in a new way. So the first way this movie made me feel was that it made me feel adventurous. The incident in the movie that made me feel this way was when Tris stands on top of a building. It's about 20 stories up, and she's looking down into the dark hole, and they tell her she has to jump to make the ranks of Dauntless, her new daredevil faction. And she's looking down, and she's so nervous, but she jumps, and she has this exhilaration and adrenaline rush. I can identify with Tris because when I was hiking in Albania, where I grew up, we were walking along a river ravine, and my friends and I were on a mountain cliff. We felt safe up there, but my dad was calling from the water, "Hey, jump in, trust me, it's safe." And my friends were a little scared, but I volunteered to go first. And I was so nervous standing up there, and my breath was shallow, my heart was racing, there was a pit in my stomach, but I made that decision to jump, and it was so much fun, it was so great, and it was surely an adrenaline rush, and it made me feel adventurous. Now, the second way this movie moved me was that it made me feel anxious. So Tris walks into the Dauntless headquarters one night, and there are 3 men that jump out of the shadows and beat her up, and they're beating her almost to death, and they're about to push her off the chasm to her sure death, and 4, one of the trainers, jumps out and saves her right in time. And when she's finally in his arms, she feels safe and protected. Now, the reason this scene made me feel anxious was because as a child I was nearly kidnapped, possibly. I was playing in the park with my friend in Albania, kind of a sketchy place, never been there, it's kind of sketchy, and we were just sitting there playing with our dolls, and this guy walks by us, and he starts speaking in hushed tones and seductively telling us how pretty we were, and how we should come with him, and just come with me, and then he starts walking towards us, and he's like about to grab us, and we sprinted in the opposite direction. Then when we finally came to my parents, we felt reassured and safe and relieved, but that anxiety was terrifying. Now, the third way this movie moved me was that it made me feel competitive. Tris was not the best athlete or fighter, so she had to work extra hard and work twice as hard as everybody else to make the ranks of Dauntless, and her hard work paid off. I can identify with Tris in this situation because I similarly was not the best athlete in high school. I played lacrosse, and I was determined to make the varsity team. And I would spend hours running, and I would run like 5 miles every single day, and then do sprints before and after every practice, and spend hours working on my ball skills. And my hard work paid off because not only did I make the varsity team, I also got first place in all the sprints and all the long distance runs and everything. So that competitive emotion really helped me reach my goal. So in summary, I've told you 3 ways that Divergent has moved me. It made me feel adventurous, it made me feel anxious, and it made me feel really competitive. And I hope that these themes have resonated with you, and that you'll see that Divergent is different from Hunger Games and all the movies in that same genre. And just as T.S. Eliot encourages all of you to risk going too far, I encourage you to each find and redefine your own limits and capabilities. And I encourage you to have a sense of determination and adventure and curiosity, but also be wise in making decisions and choosing your actions. Thank you.
Thank you. Somewhere over on the wall.
Hi, I'm Devin.
Hi, Devin.
Hi, Devin.
I really like the way that you speak. It's just really natural and you have a lot of variety. And I also really liked your first story, how to script things where like my heart was racing, it was so exhilarating, and I just thought it was really good.
Thank you.
Good word picture. She brought us there. You could see her on the edge of the cliff. Yeah. Okay, good. Improvement. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Emily.
Hi, Emily.
Shoot, I was really hoping I wasn't going to get the improvement one. I mean, I really enjoyed your speech. I can't even really pinpoint anything. Maybe the hand gestures were a little much, but they also really added to your speech. So, I mean, maybe find a balance between that.
What was my time?
It was 4:41.
That's good. Let's talk, Sophia, about your efforts to communicate your emotions. You started with T.S. Eliot. Can't go wrong with that poet. And it was on point of your emotions that you were going to communicate. There was an element of risk and excitement and so forth going on in the body of your presentation, so it was appropriate. You left out your transitional device that your dad had shared this quote with you, and it inspired you to take risk and to go the extra mile in your life, and has become kind of a mantra for yourself. That would have been good to hear. Your thesis was fine. Your 6th statement was good. I love people that disagree with movie critics. And you gave a reasoned rebuttal to your movie critic. Good. Now, I want you to practice walking right now. I didn't like how you walked. So let me see you walk to the right. No, that's a scissor step. No, you don't ever turn your back aside to the audience. You always stay facing forward. So,
Is it like a little...
yeah, that's the dealio. Okay, get back in the center, and more right. Yeah, and what I do is you step in the direction you're going to go right first. So step right with your right foot. 1, then cross over 2, 3. That's how you walk.
That's more natural. Okay.
And that's more natural. And never cross your feet because you'll stumble. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Over here and then work that side of the room so you can get them, blah, 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 but still glancing over at this gentleman so you don't leave him out. Now let's come back to center. Step with the step you're going to go in the direction. And try not to ever turn your body away from your audience. Always keeping cheated forward. Okay, we've taken care of that. Good. Let's talk about your effort to communicate your emotions. Adventurous. Oh my gosh. This was good. You told us about being in Albania, and you were in the mountains, and your father was down at the bottom in a river and said, jump. It seemed a little foolish to me, but I hope it was a deep river. But and you're still here, so apparently it was deep enough. You said, trust me, jump. So you did. But you built up the tension, and we got the whole story, and we got the feeling this was really an adventure. So we got the exciting feeling of that and the adrenaline rush of it all. So you really communicated that emotion well. On your second emotion, anxiety, again, well done. The creep in the park that was trying to molest you, and your fight or flight or your instincts or your good judgment kicked in. And we all have that, you know. We talk about giving off respectful vibration. We get vibes from people. Let's not pretend that it's a silly Beach Boys comment, I'm picking up good vibrations. There are vibrations we get from people. And we know when people are bad vibing us, don't we? And you got the vibe and you checked out of the situation. You gave us just enough detail. You used action words like we ran, we sprinted, we jumped, we flew to the safety of our parents. So it was a problem solution story telling example. Well done. On your third emotion, I was wondering how you were going to communicate competitiveness, and I thought this would be a challenging emotion to communicate when I first heard you say it in your preview, but you did pull it off, and it was sort of like you turned it into a thing of a problem solution, not make the team, and do well on lacrosse. And so that worked okay. I don't know about, did you think of jiggling these around, or how did you decide on the order?
Chronologically based on the movie of what happens.
So you just stayed with the movie. Because I thought the third one wasn't your strongest one. I probably would have ended with your anxiety, but it's not a major deal, but just something to think about, because we all have rhetorical choices when we're designing our speeches, and so think about your choices a little bit more. Your summary, conclusion, and tie back to T.S. Eliot was just fine. You said move 3 times. We've worked on that and solved that. You said scan the whole room for eye contact. I don't think that happened. And you said don't go overtime, and you did not. So that was good. So you did a nice job today. Thank you. Yes?
You coining those.
Yeah, but you weren't here. So we'll see if we get to you.
Okay.
No, I call people in order. Yeah. Okay, that brings us to Quinn Ying Hung.
It's Chen Ying.
Chen Ying. Don't call me Quinn Ying. Chen Ying.
Sorry about that. This is my outline and the self-evaluation.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, let me see if I got you in range. Yeah, you're good. No, you're good. You're nice and short. Fit right in the camera. Lens perfectly. Okay. Got a computer out. Okay, manage attention, communicating respect, finding friendly action in front of the center. Say your name, feel the love, start your speech.
Hi everyone, I'm Chen Ying.
Hi, Chen Ying.
Aristotle once said, what is a friend? A friend is a single soul living in 2 bodies. So everyone has a friend and everyone is a friend. But what is friends? It is those who will do 3 things with you, like sing Justin Bieber's song on the street at 3 a.m. It is those who know you well, understand you well, but still accept all your imperfections. It is those who celebrate your happiness and also sympathize with your sufferings. I think nobody will deny that friendship is one of the most precious things we will get in our lifetime. So today I want to share with you a film called The Perks of Being a Wallflower. It tells a story of a teenager called Charlie, played by, I think it's Logan Lerman. and he got over his past traumatic experience and moved on his new life with the help of his friends. From this film made me feel lonely, it made me feel happy, and it made me feel grateful. I know you guys will enjoy this film because all the audiences can find themselves in the characters. You record experiences of being a teenager and especially the influence of your friends. As the movie critic Violet Ucla says, for better and worse, the perks of being a wallflower will make you feel a teenager again. So my first emotion is lonely. When I watched Charlie start his high school and everybody considered him as a freak, and he made no friends in his school, I recall my own experience as a transfer student. When I was in middle school, because my parents were in different cities, so I was forced to transfer a lot. So every time I transferred to a new school, I was entirely pushed out from my classmates. I didn't know what to do when seeing my classmates chat with each other happily, but I got no chance to break in their conversations. I didn't know what to do when I see my classmates hang out with each other after class, but nobody invited me. At that time, what I could do was just sitting there alone and consoling myself, everything is going to be okay, but I was so panicked and I was so heartbroken. So Charlie's experience really reminds me of the feeling of isolation and loneliness. So my second emotion is happy. When Charlie befriends with Patrick, played by Ezra Miller, and Sam, played by Emma Watson, they told Charlie that he's absolutely charming, and they help him evolve with other people. This reminds me of my friend Selena when I was in middle school, and she really helped me out of being lonely. I met her on the first day of my last transfer, and she was my classmate. She noticed that my backpack printed the characters of One Piece, which is a popular Japanese animation at the time, and she was always screaming loud, like, "Oh, are you also a fan of One Piece?" And to be honest, I was a little bit surprised because according to my past experience, every time I finish my introduction, nobody know me or they are not interested in me. But Selena did it. So I was so happy that I eventually got someone willing to get to know me. So I replied her with all my passion and happiness I felt. Like, yes, would you like to watch it with me at the weekend? And at the weekend, Selena brought almost the whole class to my house. And they told me that they are very lucky to have me as their friend. At that time, I felt so good that I was the happiest person in the world. The feeling of being recognized is just so magical. So my last emotion is grateful. When I watched Charlie comforted Sam for screwing out her college application, I recall my similar experience when how my friends encouraged me when I decided to study abroad in the States. At that time, I was a little bit stressful because I was handling both my different tasks and also I was working at that time. So I underwent some mental breakdown sometimes. But my friends, they didn't just run away from me. I remember at midnight, I couldn't fall asleep because those uncertainties really haunted me. So I logged on my WeChat and checked my messages. And I received so many messages from my friends. They told me that they never doubted I could handle all the things well. They told me that they will take me to a movie or a concert if I get over 2200 in SAT, but unfortunately I never make it. and also they sent me some very silly jokes to cheer me up. At that time, although I was alone in my room, I was actually not alone. I just felt so grateful for having someone always backing me up and bringing me sunshine to my cloudy life. So in summary, I told you the 3 ways this movie made me feel, moved me. It made me feel lonely, it made me feel happy, and it made me feel grateful. The Perks of Being a Wallflower is a very impressive movie because I can find myself in the character of Charlie. I can remember all the details how I got rid of being a wallflower and embracing a new world under the encouragement of my friends. Personally, I call it a moment when I meet a friend who really get along well with me, the aha moment, as an appropriation of a psychology term. In that moment, as Aristotle said, when I found another version of myself in the world, And that's a moment for clashes, for true single souls and self-realization. At that moment, as Charlie said in the end of the movie, you know you're not a sad story, and you are alive. Thank you.
Yes, we're here.
Hi, I'm Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
I really liked your speech. You just felt really genuine through the whole thing, and you really made great eye contact and just had a really great energy that I just felt like I really connected with you the whole time.
Thank you.
Hello everybody, I'm Esmond.
Hi, Yasmin.
Well, I really liked your speech. I did notice you were a little out of breath in the beginning, so I would suggest taking some more pauses. That way you can also relax.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Wow, okay, we don't have a lot of time, but let's talk about breathing when you speak and taking a deep breath before you start to speak. And even if you have to pause to take in a deep breath in the middle, that will help you, because what is going on is because of your anxiety, your voice, your breath gets shallow, and then your voice gets tight and that sort of thing. Well, I liked your speech. It was honest. You shared a lot of personal stuff, and it was disarming. And I liked that you were open about certain things that happened to you, and that was excellent. As an aside, continue to work on your diction, your pronunciation. Start slower so we get used to how you speak, and then once we get used to it, we can understand you. I just want to go to a little minor point. Say whether you agree or disagree with the quote you presented. We don't know. Let's talk about your emotions. You first tried to communicate feeling lonely, and I thought you did that well. People wouldn't talk to you or be with you and that sort of thing, and you talked about how bad that felt and the panic of being alone and being isolated. And you returned to that emotion at the end of your storytelling, and so we felt your isolation and aloneness. So that was well done. On your second emotion of happy, you met a friend named Selena who identified with a piece of Japanese animation that you had on your bag, and then it snowballed into all your friends coming to your apartment and being your friend, and you said, I was the happiest person in the world having all these friends, and I got the feeling of your happiness. You were reliving it and re-feeling it, so we felt it too. On grateful, you said you had a mental breakdown. I don't know, that has a certain meaning here in America where they put you in a straitjacket and take you off to the loony bin. So I'd be careful using that expression. I just think you were confused and sad and depressed, right? Yeah. But your friends responded to you and supported you and gave you encouragement, and you felt grateful for their support. And I got a feeling of gratefulness, so that was good, and you had a good tie back. So you did a pretty good job. Thank you. Oops, we're out of time. Return with honor.